Hello there, welcome again English learners. How is your learning going on? I hope you are doing well. I am Ramchandra Dhonukshe and you are watching a video series on basic English grammar and its applications. If you are a beginner, watch the videos carefully. If you have already studied all those things, then this would be a good revision for you. Leave your comments below, or you can also send me your suggestions and doubts if you have any on my email ID provided in the description. Also visit my blogger's website. Go through the notes and PowerPoint presentations to learn English from. Read my articles on different topics and also grammar tips and vocabulary bites not to forget. The link for my blogger's website is given in the description. If you like this video, press the like button, share the video with others and subscribe the channel. In the first video on parts of speech, we studied noun, pronoun and adjective. In the second video, we studied verb and adverb. And in this third video, we are going to study preposition, conjunction and interjection. So let's start with preposition. Preposition is a word that shows relationship between different words in a sentence in terms of space, relative position, location, time or direction. Sometimes when we talk about something, we need to mention the space or relative position of one thing with the other. For example, the book is on the table, the box is kept under the table, the thief is hiding behind the building, etc. In these sentences, the words on, under and behind are the prepositions. They show the relationship between two things. The relationship between table and book. The book is on the table. Sometimes we talk about time. For example, let's conduct a meeting in the afternoon. Or my father is coming on Monday at 10 o'clock. So in the afternoon, on Monday at 10 o'clock, these are the expressions in which we use preposition to talk about time. Sometimes we talk about location. For example, she is waiting for me at the bus stop. Sometimes some prepositions show us direction of movement. For example, the children rushed into the classroom, or the crowd is walking towards the collector's office. Let's study some commonly used prepositions and their usage. We'll also study some common mistakes so that if you are doing those mistakes, then you can avoid them in future. Let's start with on. On is a preposition that can be used in many different ways. On can be used to show the position when two things are in direct contact with each other. For example, as we said, the book is on the table. There is direct contact between the book and the table. Another example, display the pictures on the wall. On is sometimes also used with transport vehicles. On is used with the vehicles that are bigger. For example, a bus, a ship or a train, wherein we can sit, stand or even walk inside. For example, get on a bus, get on a ship, get on a train. But when we are talking about the vehicles that are smaller in size, wherein we can sit and travel but we cannot stand and walk inside, for example, a car, a taxi or a cab, we can't use the preposition on. There we use preposition in. For example, we get on a bus but we get in a car. With animals and two-wheelers, we use the preposition on. For example, get on the bike, get on the bicycle, get on the horse, etc. When we are talking about the transport vehicles in general sense, we use by. For example, I commute by bus. How do you commute? Some people commute by car. This is true with the surfaces of traveling. For example, by road, by air, by rail, etc. We use the prepositions on, at and in to talk about location. For example, on is used with roads and streets. His shop is on Lakshmi Road. My house is on the main street. At is used to talk about exact location like at the airport, at the bus stop, at the station, etc. In is used with cities, states, countries and continents. For example, I live in Bangalore. I worked in Europe for 2 years. Employment in Uttar Pradesh is reducing considerably. The prepositions on, in and at are also used to talk about time. On is used with days and dates. For example, my birthday is on 24th December, or she arrived on Monday. In is used with week, month, year, decade, or century. For example, my birthday is in December, or my birthday is in the last week of December. I was born in 1976. This material was discovered in 16th century. We opted for globalization in the 90s. At is used to talk about the exact time. For example, the college starts at 10 a.m. Now let's look at these prepositions: above, under, over, below. Above and under are used when there is no physical contact between the things. For example, be careful, there is a fan above your head. The box is kept under the table. Over is used in the same sense, but there is movement involved from one side to the other. For example, the plane passes over the city. We can't say the plane passes above the city. Over is also used when something is larger and covering something else. For example, I pulled the blanket over my face. It means I covered my face with the blanket. Below is used to show that something is at a lower level. For example, keep the liquid in the flask below the red mark. The prepositions till, until, and by are used to talk about time required for a certain activity or sometimes deadline. For example, I will wait until you finish your work, or wait until this month end. Here you can use till in place of until. Both are equally acceptable, both are interchangeable, and both mean the same thing. By is used to talk about deadline. For example, you should submit the report by the next week, or you will get the sanction letter by the 10th of June. The prepositions in and within are also used to talk about deadlines. In is used when we want to say something will be completed after completion of certain period. For example, the results will be declared in 10 days. It means the result will be declared after the completion of the period, that is 10 days. But when we say the results will be declared within 10 days, it means the activity will be done, the results will be declared before completion of the given period, that is before 10 days period. The prepositions from, to, and between, and are used in the same sense. For example, I studied in that college from 2015 to 2018. Or you can say alternatively, I studied in that college between 2015 and 2018. But remember, the pairs cannot be separated. For example, you cannot change the combination. You cannot say, I studied in that college from 2015 and 2018, or you cannot say, I studied in that college between 2015 to 2018. Sometimes for some people, the prepositions beside and besides are confusing. I've seen many of my students making the mistake. Beside means by the side of, and besides means apart from. I was sitting beside my father. Means I was sitting next to my father, by the side of my father. And when I say besides, it means apart from. Besides being a teacher, he is also a good writer. Similarly, the prepositions between and among also confuse some people. Both are used to show the relative position of something with something else. Between is used when there are two things on the either side of a particular object. For example, the mango is between the apple and the banana. Or you can say, I sat between my mother and my father. Among is used when there are many things around a particular object. For example, the mango is among the leaves. There are many leaves. I was sitting among my college students. There are actually a lot of things you can talk about prepositions. This can be endless, and there is no limit how deeper you go into it. Conjunction is basically a joining word. It joins two words, two phrases, or two clauses. These are some of the examples of conjunctions. Conjunctions are broadly categorized into three types. coordinating conjunction, subordinating conjunction, and correlative conjunctions. Let's look at some of the commonly used conjunctions. Coordinating conjunction joins two words, phrases, or clauses having equal grammatical importance. For example, I am a teacher and a writer. Two nouns, a teacher and a writer, are joined together. Another example, we danced and played a lot. Two verbs, danced and played, are joined together. One more example, I didn't have enough money, but I managed. In this sentence, there are two clauses. One is, I didn't have enough money, and another is, I managed. Both the clauses are independent clauses. They are not dependent on each other. Means, they stand alone, complete and correct and meaningful. And these two clauses are joined by a contrasting coordinating conjunction, that is but. When coordinating conjunction is used to join two clauses, it can be written in two ways. The first is put a comma after the first clause, followed by the conjunction and followed by the second clause. Or you can write two clauses separately as separate sentences and start the second sentence with the conjunction. For example, I didn't have enough money, but I managed. I prepared well, but the exams got cancelled. Sometimes one of the two clauses is less important, and the less important clause is called subordinate clause. And a subordinate clause starts with a subordinate conjunction. For example, I will call you after I reach home. Here, there are two clauses. I will call you is the main clause. I reach home is the subordinate clause, or the clause which is less important or dependent clause. The first is independent clause. I will call you, main clause. And when I reach home or after I reach home is dependent clause, because it cannot stand alone. It doesn't make sense if you say I reach home, or if you say after I reach home. It doesn't make sense. So it has less importance. That is why it is called subordinate clause, and the conjunction that is used to start or join subordinate clause is called subordinate conjunction. You will succeed if you work hard. You will not succeed unless you work hard. I decided not to go as I was not feeling well. In these sentences, the words if, unless, and as are subordinating conjunctions. There is no need to use comma in the sentence when we are starting a sentence with the main clause, but sometimes we start the sentence with subordinate clause. For example, as I was tired, I decided not to go. In this sentence, we started the sentence with subordinate clause. As I was tired. I decided not to go is the main clause which comes later. That is why we put a comma after the subordinate clause. Let's look at some examples of correlative conjunctions. I will buy both the pen and the diary. Tell me whether you like tea or coffee. I like neither tea nor coffee. We not only informed the police, but also waited there till the matter was resolved. In these sentences, both and, whether or, neither nor, not only but also, these are called correlative conjunctions. They are used in pairs. They can never be separated. I hope you have understood preposition and conjunction. Really? Wow, that's fantastic. Here comes interjection. Interjections are the words that show extreme emotion, spontaneous reaction, sudden feeling or sentiment. For example, when you see something that is really beautiful, fantastic, and your natural reaction is, wow, it's beautiful. Or sometimes this can happen, oops, I spoiled my t-shirt. Or when you meet your buddies, you say, hey guys, what's going on? Or you are having discussion with your colleague and your colleague says, have you prepared for tomorrow's meeting? And you say, oh, I forgot to tell you, tomorrow's meeting is cancelled. Sometimes you want to show agreement. For example, you're right. Or, I can understand. Now imagine you have a wound on your hand and somebody nursing you. You say, ouch, be careful, it hurts. Or you have been putting a lot of efforts into something and you are done with it. What is your reaction? Phew, it's done. Well, everyone knows we use exclamatory mark after interjection. Wait, it's not true all the time. Sometimes we also use a comma or a question mark, which is also called as interrogative mark, and sometimes a period, that is full stop. How to decide? It depends upon the situation and how intense your emotion is. For example, there is curfew going on and your friend says, let's take a walk outside. You say, what? Are you mad? Here we are using question mark. Or another example, yes, I'm coming with you. We are using comma here. And no, you're not the member of this group. No, we used full stop. It's okay. The word no is interjection. You and your brother are talking to each other. Your brother says, we are going to our uncle's house this vacation. Yeah, I know it. That's great. Sometimes one word is enough. You just say, yeah. That is enough. Now, if your brother is talking like this, you know what? This vacation we are going to our uncle's house. What should be your reaction? Yay, that's great. So what punctuation mark you use depends upon the situation and the intensity of emotion. Interjections are actually standalone words or phrases. It means they don't have any grammatical connection with the rest of the sentence. For example, bravo, you have done a great job. In this sentence, if you remove the interjection, you have done the great job, the remaining sentence, it's still grammatically correct, complete and meaningful sentence. The only thing is that the interjection helps us to understand the intensity of the emotion of the speaker. Interjection can be of one word, a single word, or a group of words. For example, imagine you are meeting your aunt after a long time and you have a plaster in your hand. Your aunt reacts, "Oh my goodness, what have you done to yourself?" Or an angry boss may say to his employee who is trying to give some excuses, "Nothing doing, Mr. Prakash. I want you to complete the work before deadline. I won't listen to any excuses." Use of these words, interjections, can differ from person to person, culture to culture. That doesn't really matter. What matters is these words add sentimental value to the sentence. If you find the contents of this video useful, press the like button and share the video with your friends. And if you haven't done it yet, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss a thing in future. Let me know what you think about this video. Leave your comments below, or you can also write me on my email. You can also stay connected with me through my blogger's website. My email address and blogger's website address both are there in the description. Now let's take a quick review of what we have learned today. We started with preposition. Preposition is a word that shows relationship between different words in a sentence in terms of space, position, location, time, or direction. The best way to learn prepositions is read more, listen more, and practice more. After that, we studied conjunctions. Conjunctions are actually joining words. They join either two words or two phrases or two sentences. There are three types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunction, subordinating conjunction, and correlative conjunction. Coordinating conjunction joins two words or phrases or clauses having equal grammatical importance, while subordinating conjunction joins a subordinating clause to the main clause. And the correlating conjunctions are the conjunctions that are used in pairs. Then we studied interjection. Interjection is a word that shows sudden and spontaneous reaction to something. It is actually extreme emotion or sentiment. Interjection helps us to show the intensity of emotion or the feeling involved in our speech. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Keep watching, keep learning.